Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sense of Humor's podcast, where we talk anything pop culture or anything that interests us. We're your hosts, Griffshock or Travis, and my buddy here, uh, Multimite or Tyler.
What's up, everybody? Also, before we get into it, can I just say, welcome back, Travis. It's good to have you back.
Yeah,
Finally have
yeah.
my original co-host back. It's good to have you back, and I'm really looking forward to this topic today. And everyone that comments or likes our uh, podcasts, you better be clapping in the comments, or I'm going to be very disappointed in all of you.
Ooh,
So
there you go.
give a round of applause for my man showing back up again.
Yeah, I do apologize, guys. I had some life things come up that I needed to take time off for, but
I was gonna say, you never need to apologize for, doing more important things. So, and
it's not that
honestly,
it's more important. It's just like things that I had to get done. I wouldn't like I don't. Okay, yeah, you're right. I guess it kind of was more important.
I was gonna say, yeah, real life is definitely more important, and I'm not calling this not real life, but what I'm saying is, yeah, like this is our thing for sure, but as your co-host, I understand that, like, heck, you'll probably have to do an episode without me here or there, but
Oh yeah,
and we'll probably have you just stream it on your channel, and then I'll give you the channel information. You can just upload it the same day or
I'll have to
on
figure out how
Monday.
to upload it, but
Yeah, I
or
can I can walk you through it and everything too.
record and
Honestly,
stuff. But anyways,
yeah.
uh,
Anyways, to the topic at hand.
to the topic at hand. So today's topic, you guys, is going to be TV shows and or our favorite TV shows, I should say, and the reason as of why we like those shows. So, do you have any shows that you would like to mention that are your favorite?
I mean, so I'm wearing a skin. Obviously, one of my favorites is Green Arrow from the Arrow show. Um,
Good
I
choice.
I originally only watched The
Sorry.
Flash. I didn't know Arrow and The Flash was a part of the same universe at that time.
Okay.
But my dad came to me and was like, "Hey, they're coming out with a Flash TV show," and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I need to watch that," because Flash was one of my favorite characters in the animated
Series.
Justice League show, TV show that I grew up with. So it was cool to see that they put him in live action. And honestly, I gotta say, it's still up there for me. Like,
100%.
obviously, it's not perfect, but yeah, no, The Flash and Green Arrow, like both, or Arrow, are both very solid shows, and I really like them. I think out of everything that DC's done live action wise, I think those are some of their best projects. And it's unfortunate that they weren't as well funded as their movies, because if they had a better budget, they could have probably made the visuals look like even better than they already do. Like, obviously, it's television, and unless you're Disney, who likes to blow money on stupid TV shows,
Yep.
but and I think I'll get to that point in a second, but yeah, so obviously we kind of shared that in high school. I remember we'd get together and talk about the Flash or Arrow or
Yes.
whatever CW show was out at the time. But what about you? What's some of your favorites?
Well, I have one that is a very, very favorite of mine. I've seen it, I think, about 10 or 11 times through, maybe more. Who is keeping track? Not me. But it is Supernatural. Supernatural is one of my top favorite TV shows. 100%. Even my girl over here is nodding her head in a very fast manner. Um, so I like Supernatural a lot. I also really like The Flash. I watched The Flash a lot during high school, like you mentioned. To the point where I was watching it during ceremony, not ceremony. What the fuck? What? No. Some what was that? What was it? Wasn't not Sunday school. What was it? Um,
Seminary?
Seminary. That's what it is. A seminary. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I watched it during seminary so often to the point where I never even paid attention during class. And I thought I was like as soon as I walk into that room and he turns off them lights, I put my headphones on, my hood on, and my phone on the desk and I watch it. And he always like did the thing where like, "Oh, did you read, this part of the book or whatever, or the scriptures or whatever?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah, I read that part." He goes, "Okay, cool. You're gonna get an A." I go, "Thank you." And honestly, if I could tell him, if I can go back in time or go to visit him or whatever, I would be like, look, dude, I did not read. I did not pay attention in your class at all. I finished the entire season of The Flash in I don't yeah, I never never paid attention. Anyways,
My
so I like the
my homework was The Flash instead of actual homework.
yes, see, you get it, you get it,
I
you
mean,
get it. But anyways, I like The Flash. The Arrow or Arrow is a very good show. It is a very, very good show. Um, what else? Trying to think of shows I watched during high school time. Um,
I can
I think it
already
was
think of one that's like my favorite of all time because like those are some of my favorites, and maybe I'll reveal my favorite at the end of the or not the end of the episode, but like nearing the end of like this question or whatever. Because
okay. You
um,
can answer that question. You can say it now if you'd like, because my question's kind of done.
well, no, I was gonna say I cut you off there, so I'll let you
Oh, you're good.
continue because I was just gonna point out because maybe that's what like so like I can only assume yes, but Supernatural that's your favorite show of all time?
Correct.
Because I
Correct.
was gonna say I figured because that's your Twitch profile picture at the moment, right?
I believe so. It's also my Xbox profile. Yes.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, doesn't get better than that. Just to show off some of your favorite
Yeah.
media. So
Like the reason why I like it is because it's 15 seasons long, which is a long time. So, and not only that, the show is a long series. It's just that like they're hunting. Like if anyone that hasn't seen it, there's two brothers who basically go out and hunt paranormal activities like shapeshifters, werewolves, vampires, demons, ghosts, uh, anything paranormal. They take it down and they fight them, saving the world, this, that, and the third. But it's like it can get repetitive sometimes or very predictable. But also at the same time, it's such a long series, you forget like you watch it all the way through to the end and you forget how it started and then you rewatch and you go, "Oh yeah, I remember this and this and this," and it just never gets old.
see, that was my problem with the Flash and Arrow. Now, again, I love those shows, but they do have their problems. Like I was actually watching. Well, I have been watching them recently. I got to Arrow season 3, and then I started the Flash right after that because that's when the Flash came out. So I'm kind of doing it in chronological order. But basically, like I was comparing the two, and I'm like, dang, the stories are pretty similar. Like they're two kids with tragic backstories. Barry lost his mom. Oliver lost his dad, and they're both like use their abilities to save their cities. And then obviously, like I think the Arrow's a lot more darker, whereas like Barry's the more lighthearted character and
Yeah,
the
like the
more
comedian.
lighthearted hero. Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, like the only reason Arrow's as dark as he is because they were trying to make a Batman show, but because of the live action Batman's like they're like actually let's just do it with a different character that's very similar. And wouldn't you know it, Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, is basically like a more giddy version of Bruce Wayne or the Batman. So
Yeah.
um, they basically merged the two characters, making him dark, but also like still undeniably like a green archer that goes around hunting the terrible people and everything. But yeah, the comparison is like, like they're villains. Like, for example, Malcolm Merlin is the villain of Green Arrow, and he's literally just a dark version of Green Arrow. He's an archer, evil. And then it's the same
Yeah,
thing with the Flash. He's got the Reverse Flash, which is, literally in the name. He's the
Simon
opposite of the
Bells.
Flash in terms of being a villain and everything. And yeah, so the shows and patterns are definitely the same. And I mean, obviously there's differences story-wise, but as in terms of like the structure or concept, it's all the same. Now, I'm not, again, this isn't me like crapping on it. This is just me being realistic and me being factual about it. Because I don't hate it. I do hate, or not hate, but I do start to dislike future seasons of
Of the
the
Flash.
Arrow and the Flash. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
the newer season of the
Arrow,
Flash, I'm a little iffy on.
yeah. Like, I think I stopped liking The Flash after season three, and I stopped liking Arrow after season three as well. I think that's when they both kind of went
A little weird.
downhill. Because, like, season three had Savitar, which was, like, the really big armored speedster.
Yeah,
And
the one that
then,
went like the one that was him from like or back or go. Yeah,
yeah,
he
he
got
was like
destroyed.
a time variant of
Yeah.
Barry, but, and then, in Arrow, it was Ra's al Ghul, and he was a cool
Mm,
villain.
yeah.
But then season four for both of them, like Arrow was Damien Dark, I think it was, and then
Yeah.
the Flash, it was. Oh, what was the Flash? It was the Thinker. The Thinker was his
Yep.
villain. And they were both pretty boring, honestly. Like Donnie Darko was weird because he could like, maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but like he could disintegrate people just by touching them and
And
whatever.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
So that's pretty
the
weird.
Thinker was just like he knew who the
Super
Flash
smart.
was, and yeah, he tried to frame him for murdering him and all this, and it's just like, yeah, that's weird because like the
Yeah.
Thinker was like transferring bodies, and then uh, in doing so, he got abilities and stuff from that. Um, but yeah, no, the Thinker was weird, and I didn't like Damien Dark either. Like those were two very boring. Like I do want to go back and rewatch him though. Like I think the last season of The Flash that I watched is when his daughter came to the past, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, that was the last time I watched The Flash. But hopefully it gets better. Like I heard the finale was pretty good, but we'll
Pretty
see.
alright.
Yeah.
Has its ups and downs.
I
I
heard the
mean, might I
Arrows was
might I
pretty
mi-
bad.
I haven't finished the Arrow complete yet, so I wouldn't know. But I might say I think Barry Allen kind of reminds me of like DC Br down to earth, and he's. Oh wait, can you hear me?
Uh I You
Iffy
cut
and
out for a
outy.
second.
I forgot my headset was up on top of my head for a little bit. But what might I might say that I think Barry Allen kind of gives me the personality aspect of Spider-Man, of like a down to earth, like saving his city type
I
of character.
I would agree with that. Yeah. If not the Flash, I think he Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's also,
Blue Beetle's a good one.
yeah, he reminds me. He's like a mix between Spider-Man and Iron Man, and I really liked that about Blue Beetle, but yeah, no, I like the Flash a lot. I hope in the DCU, like the one that James Gunn is working on, they do a good job because from what I've been told and the rumors circulating right now is that Grant Gustin is being talked to um by James Gunn, and there's rumors that he'll reprise his role as the Flash and he'll be the DCU Flash, which would be awesome. But I only
Yeah,
hope they do the same thing with Stephen Amell because he was an awesome Green Arrow.
yeah. The guy that played in the Flash movie, I hate him.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like him. I heard the guy that played the Flash in the show was offered that role, but he turned it down, and I'm like, why the hell would you do that? But anyways, he turned it
s-
down, and I wish in the future he would play in the movie or whatever, because that would just make the Flash movies way better.
So it wasn't that he turned it down, it's that he was busy with the show and they didn't want to cross the show and the movies over for some reason.
Uh, okay.
And then on top of that, from what I was told, Grant Gustin was supposed to get a cameo in the Flash movie. Um, but they cut his part out or something. So I don't know. I yeah, I don't know. I really like Grant Gustin, and I hope he reprises his role, and if not, I really hope he does something for like Marvel or something because he's a really good actor.
He's a great actor, yeah.
Um,
All right. So those are the shows that we are currently watching. So my question to you is now,
mhm.
what type of shows did you grow up watching?
That's a good question because one of them was my favorite, and I'll list them off, but I won't say what my favorite is yet. But um, first things first, obviously Spider-Man, like the 1999 one, or 1994,
I think it's 94.
1994, yeah. So that's when I started like getting into shows, and then there was the Spectacular Spider-Man show. There was Earth's Mightiest Heroes. There was Justice League Animated. There was Justice League Unlimited. So a lot of superhero shows for sure, and then you got
Yeah.
Clone Wars, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and then to kind of veer off, we got Psych. Psych was one of my favorite shows
Ooh,
growing
Psych is a
up,
good show.
and then I never really liked The Office, admittedly. Like
Oh man, I love The Office. It's so
I,
funny.
the cringy humor does not do
That's
it
the
for me. That's
maybe
the
maybe that's because
problem.
that's my humor. My humor is kind of cringy humor. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
Well, it's the thing is like there are some moments that I can laugh at, like the Dwight
Parkour, parkour.
and yeah, like parkour, that's funny, or like the Dwight and Jim pranks or whatever.
Oh,
Like
oh yeah, their
anything
little duet
Dwight,
battle.
but Michael Scott is so cringy. Like I like sink into my torso every time he like says something out of pocket that's just terrible. And I don't like it. And then to counter that one though, I really like Parks and Rec. Like I think Parks and Rec is more
I
my
haven't
speed.
seen that. I haven't seen that, but people say a lot of good things about it, and I feel like I should
Oh,
watch it.
yeah, I love Parks and Rec. But yeah, no, I don't like The Office. Uh but yeah, Psych and Parks and Rec. I tried Brooklyn Nine-Nine and I liked it, but I never
Ooh, that's pretty
finished
good.
it. Yeah, that one's
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
always start it and then I just stop, then I have to restart it again.
Yeah, I think I need to do that too, honestly. But so those are shows that I grew up with. Oh yeah, Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls was another good one.
Choice.
And SpongeBob. SpongeBob can't for. I guess there's a lot. Like I really have watched a lot, especially like Nickelodeon. I would bring up some
Mm-hmm.
Cartoon Network shows, but there's a lot of them that just failed in my opinion. Like Adventure Time was such a big miss. Regular Show was really
Regular
good.
show's great.
That ended off perfectly in my opinion. And
I
then
don't think I
uh
finished that. But
it's pretty good. Like I heard they're gonna bring it back. I don't know if it's true, but yeah, no, Regular Show's good. The Amazing World of Gumball was funny, but they canceled it.
so it was Amazing World of Gumball was always an show for me. Like it had its if and ands. Like it was I don't know, maybe it was just the art style of it or something. I just couldn't get around wrap my head around it or something. But
And that's fair. Like again, like we're kind of discussing like our our upbringings more so than anything, and we probably definitely had different upbringings. Like my
Oh yeah,
dad, he showed me some of the shows he grew up with, like the old school Voltron, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, like the classic Transformers. So those were, oh,
yeah.
G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was the other classic TV show he showed me and my brother.
I
So,
forgot G.I. Joe is a show and not just a movie.
yeah. But that's all the stuff I grew up with. But what about you? Like, I've kind of listed
Okay.
off a huge row of shows, but
No, you're good. I mean, so I grew up on a large variety, I guess you could say. I do need to watch Star Wars, the Clone Wars. I haven't seen that, and
absolutely.
everyone's like, you have to watch this, and I go, and then I would say, yeah, I'll do it, and then I just never do it. I don't know why, I just never do it. Maybe I'll just bite the bullet and do it anyways. But no, I liked a lot more of, I guess, like shows like Drake and Josh type shows. I
So
like,
like sitcoms and
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I liked Zoe 101 for a little bit. I liked Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Sweet Life on Deck. I liked Kicking It. I liked what other ones were there? Just Kicking It. There was the one where the kids were like superpowers or whatever, but they had like it's like, oh, Lab Rats. That's what it was, Lab
Oh,
Rats.
I loved Lab Rats, bro.
I watched that a lot.
Or what was
Ant
the
Farm was a little
crossover
one.
show? The one where it was the superhero hospital. I forgot about that one.
I
It
don't
was
know. I don't
like
remember that one.
Mighty Med. Mighty Med was it.
Oh, Mighty Med. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
That
Um,
crossed over with Lab Rats.
yeah, I watched that a little bit. Zoe 101, I watched that a lot. Um, Drake and Josh, I watched a lot of Drake and Josh. Um, Unfortunately, the true story behind all that kind of made me not like it anymore. But um,
I think I know what you're talking about, but probably yeah, I don't know.
okay, I'll clarify. So apparently the producer for that, and I think is like the entire producer for Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or whatever show it was on. It, the guy was like a super pervert, like
Oh,
super pervert with the bigger guy, I think Josh. Yeah. Anyways, it's just really weird, and it kind of made me grossed out and not like the guy. But I like the show. The characters are great. It's a funny show. It's just, yeah, I don't like the guy who produced it and everything.
y- yeah, and I mean like, and there's a double-edged sword to this saying though. Like, some people can separate the art from the artist, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's like, you can't separate Stan Lee from, Marvel. You
Marvel.
can't separate George Lucas from Star Wars. Like it's such a
Exactly.
double-edged sword. So like people only say that when, you know, there's something wrong with the creator. And I get that. And I don't know, like I definitely get more of like, oh, this guy was a bad person and it's hard to watch, And it's the same
Yeah.
thing with like, other things too, like content creators
Mm-hmm.
or actors or actresses or whatever. Like there's so many things that can just
Amber
like tie
Heard and
back
yeah.
to yeah, so it's like you can just tie back to that kind of stuff, and it's like, well, I don't like this anymore because of what this person did. And I mean,
Which I
like,
feel like it can be fair, but I feel like it can also be kind of unfair. Because it's just that
yeah,
one person in the entire show or series or movie.
yeah, and it's not like, and I think a lot of people misconstrued, like, oh, you watch this because you support them or whatever, and it's like, no, that's not true. I don't support them. I support like what I like about the show and everything. So like, and we're gonna not get political because that's what we try and avoid here. But so
Yeah. But anyways, I do back to some of the shows I grew up watching.
Yeah, yeah.
To veer away from that little topic right there. I don't I'm gonna list off some shows I know for a fact you probably definitely have seen. Phineas and Ferb was a good one. That was a great show.
Absolutely.
100%. I'd still watch that show even as a grown ass 25-year-old.
I mean, can't really blame you. It's still a pretty
No,
solid show.
it's a great show. I watched that. I watched this one has always been in my head. I like Johnny Bravo was a good one. And
I never watched that one, but I did see clips about it.
and then there was I just thought about it. Johnny Test. I like Johnny Test a lot growing up.
I
Johnny
did
Test was
not
really
like
cool.
Johnny Test.
No.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought we
that
were gonna relate.
no, sorry.
No,
I
it's okay.
used to
It's
watch
fine.
it, but nah, like I think it's Johnny Test's voice and how the show is edited, like the random like rock notes like whenever something happens or like the overused um sound effects or like the potty humor like just talking about pee or
Oh,
poo
yeah.
everywhere and
Poop.
it's just like
Yeah.
it's like,
Kind of gets annoying.
yeah, like, cause like I kind of liked the kid shows with like the small like adult humor like hidden here or there, you know, like that's kind of what
Oh,
drew to my
okay. Like Courage
attention.
and the Cowardly Dog type stuff.
Yeah, like I mean I didn't watch that, but more so like yeah, like regular show or adventure time. So like
The
more
ones where
so
they
the
slip in the adult joke humors, but they kind of hide it in the kid show.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
okay.
And I think SpongeBob did that a little bit too, but
SpongeBob did that quite often, apparently.
yeah. I mean, you would see SpongeBob butt ass naked sometimes, so
Well, I mean, he's a sponge. It's not really, he's not naked.
I was gonna say you don't really see his like wiener or anything, but
Cheeks.
you do see his
Yeah.
ass. You see his
Yeah.
ass, or like you see Patrick's ass occasionally. Like I don't know, it's
Yeah,
funny.
but there's just a sponge and a starfish. I mean, it's not really too inappropriate. Like you're a kid, you don't think too much of that. You're just like, oh, it's a sponge and a starfish, whatever.
Well, yeah, like I think, hey, that's funny. It's a butt, you know. Like I don't think like, oh, you know, that's inappropriate,
Why
or
is there a butt in my face? Yeah.
yeah, like does he have a wiener or whatever? Like
Yeah. No, you're just thinking of the funny joke they're about to say afterwards or something.
exactly. So I
Now,
kind of
have you?
have, or
Oh,
sorry,
go
go
for it.
ahead. No,
I
you
was
go
just gonna
ahead.
ask if you if you've ever seen Dexter Laboratory, if you like that show or not.
No, so older Cartoon Network, I never really watched. It was either Nickelodeon or I don't even want to say Disney. I think mostly my upbringing was Disney and or not Disney, Nickelodeon, and then like superhero shows. Um, Granted, I don't know who made each of the shows and everything, but like
Yeah.
you know, like again, Spider-Man, like Spectacular Spider-Man, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and then like the Justice League TV shows, like all those I grew up with. But in
Okay.
terms of like, yeah, like early Cartoon Network, like Courage the Cowardly Dog and stuff, like I know they are popular and I'm sure they are
Yeah.
funny, but I never got around to watching them because A, I either didn't have like that kind of TV or B, like I was just drawn to the ADHD causer SpongeBob most of the time.
Yeah.
So, but
No, I forgot to ask this question earlier. Did you ever watch the show The Boys? Because I know that's like a superhero show, so I was wondering if you've seen it or not.
no, but I want to. Like I
It
heard
is fantastic.
that's what I was gonna say. A lot of people have been telling me it's good. Like you just told me it's good. I think Andrew watched it. He said it was good. Um, I know a lot of my coworkers have watched it. They also watched Invincible, which is another like
Fantastic
rated
show as
R
well.
show. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'd be down to try them. I haven't gotten around to it. And anytime I here's the funny thing too is because of like me trying to do content creating and stuff, like I
Yeah.
haven't gotten around to watching shows for a while. Like I've either been
Hmm.
drawing for either comics or thumbnails, or I've been trying to game to get content for YouTube and Twitch. So I only
Rightfully
just now
understandable.
started, yeah. I only just now started watching TV shows again, and it's The Flash and Arrow. Um, but my question was, what are some newer TV shows that like you like? Because like I would say anything after high school, because like, and that can be a broad variety, obviously, but like anything from high school to like elementary, we can already kind of name off the top of our heads. Like,
Hmm.
again, anything from like Cartoon Network to, Psych or The Office or Parks and Rec or, um, oh, another one I totally forgot about, or two actually, was Jimmy Neutron and Danny Phantom.
Oh, Danny Phantom. Oh, Ben 10. Oh no, you
Ben
just started a
10.
whole trail.
So
Oh, those are great.
yeah, so like again, like we can keep talking about this and like just like I feel like there's always like a show that we just like it snaps and you're like, "Oh yeah, I grew up with that show or I watched that
Yeah.
show at least once or one episode or whatever." Like we just know. But then
Regrets.
I do remember watching some Rugrats. I remember watching All Grown Up. All Grown Up
Hmm.
and then the Rugrats movies. But yeah, no,
Anyways,
what's
sorry.
some no, you're good. What's some newer TV shows that you've come to like?
So I've started watching shows like SWAT. SWAT was a good one.
Mm,
They came out with a new season and I haven't started yet because I started after like that, after I caught up to it, I started watching a show called 911, which is another really good show. It's one of those shows where you watch one episode, it's a cliffhanger, and you watch the next episode, and the beginning of that episode will answer the cliffhanger, and it basically is like cliffhanger, 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 but it like is so good that you hate it because it's a cliffhanger, but you really want to watch the next episode. Um, I've been watching a lot of those two. I finally finished watching all of Criminal Minds. My parents would watch it back when it was all on cable, and I would keep track, and then I stopped watching because I picked up on Supernatural and Criminal Minds is kind of the same, I guess, in a way. It's crime and crime, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But I finally finished that, or yeah, I finally caught up to it, except for the last season. I haven't seen much. I didn't finish that because another episode of or another season of 901 came out, and then I started to watch SWAT 911 reminds. Oh, Fire Country. Fire Country is a good one. I'm finally up to date on it. I have to wait till next year for the episode to come out in January. But I did find out that this season of Fire Country has one of my favorite characters from Supernatural in that show. And it makes me like the show a little bit more, except for they made him into a D-bag, which upsets me because in the show, he's a tall, broad-shouldered, smart, he's the brains of the hunt. And yeah,
so is it the actor or is it the actual character?
it's the actor, the guy, or not the actor, the character in the show. They made him into a D-bag.
Okay.
Like, because he's in the show in that show is Fire Country, so Fire Country is LAFD, so Los Angeles Fire Department. But it's about this guy where he was he was driving, and his sister just got done in a breakup, and he was really upset at her boyfriend because he broke up with her on her birthday and everything, and he was nervous driving, and he crashed and. He got his sister killed in the accident, and he started doing drugs, and it got him in trouble. So he got put in jail, and he got in order for him to get out of jail, do good time, whatever. And then he joined this camp group, but it's part of the fire department, but it allows inmates to work with fire in order to prove that they can be good around civilization in order to get it cuts their time down, basically, like cuts it down quicker. Um, but it's a really good show. So they made Sam Winchester, aka Jared Padalecki. Um, is it Padalecki or Padalecki? It's one of the two. It's one of those weird last names. But anyways, he's a captain for the character Bodhi. So Bodhi is finally a freed inmate. So now he's a normal civilized person, citizen, and he wanted to join the actual fire department. And so the captain is Jared, or
All right,
it's
interesting.
confusing. I just com probably confused the shit out of you, but
I mean, hey, like I'll have to watch the show to know, but I get it. Like, I mean, that's kind of how we are with shows, though, right? Like, we go down a rabbit hole that like you have to watch it to know it.
yeah, exactly. Yes. I also
So
just
you kind of grew up, or well, sorry, not grew up, but like after high school, you started getting into more like crime shows, is what I'm gathering.
yeah, mostly because as you know, and other people that are watching don't know, but when I graduated high school, I moved out to a completely different state. So I didn't have much time to be in that home state, so I'm in a completely different state now. And as when we came out here, my dad and I were trying to join the community in the area that we were living in, and as some people are not aware, I don't know if you're aware, but I was a volunteer firefighter for a while.
I do remember you
Um,
telling me that during the Dream Jobs episode, actually.
oh, all right. I forgot I mentioned that in there. But yeah, no, I joined the fire department and I was just a volunteer, so I wasn't a full firefighter, but still it was always a dream of mine to do something with like law enforcement, like like be a cop or be a firefighter, because back when I was a Boy Scout, this is how far back it goes, but I was a Boy Scout, I went to the fire department and they let me use the fire hose. But I had a lay on it, and I was a super light kid. I mean, I was really light as a kid, and this fire hose is really strong, and I'm holding on, and it's slithering like a snake, and I'm going backwards. I don't know what my mind was thinking when I should have been traumatized, but I was like, I want to be here when I get older. Um, that's kind of what drew me into the crime shows and helping people, saving people, type stuff, is because I was a volunteer firefighter, and it kind of just shaped my whole career.
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember you telling me that one of your job idea or career ideas was being a firefighter. So that's pretty cool, and that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, um, I feel like sometimes the world outside of the shows can be affected of like what media we partake in. So like, I mean, I've always grown up liking superheroes, so naturally I'd be more drawn to the superhero shows and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what were you gonna say before I asked the crime show question?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
Um,
I'll probably remember later, but I don't remember right now.
yeah, I mean, for us, because when we graduated is when Disney Plus came out, and that's when
Correct.
shows like The Mandalorian dropped, and that was one of my.
Amen.
It
Amen.
still is. It's one of my favorites. Like I
Amen.
know a lot of people didn't like season 3, but I actually really liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Agreed.
but then yeah, then there were some bad ones too, and people can fight me on it or whatever. I didn't like the Kenobi show. I didn't like the Boba Fett show.
Boba Fett was
Um,
horrible. Kenobi was all right.
Ahsoka, Ahsoka was decent, but it wasn't good enough for me to like get back. Like, in fact, I've kind of like given up on Star Wars at this point, admittedly, which is kind of
Mm-hmm.
sad because that was my combo. It was Star Wars and Spider-Man. Like those were the two things that like really, you know, that was my
Shaped you.
childhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was,
trust me. Yeah, I know you like Star Wars a lot.
yeah. Um, but yeah. So there's that. And then this was a show that came out when we were in high school, but I didn't start watching it until it came onto Netflix from YouTube. Red was Cobra Kai. I really like the Cobra Kai show.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah,
The new
Cobra
season
Kai
was
is.
so good too.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. I need to go and
Dude,
watch it.
it's so badass.
Yeah. And then again, shows that came out much later. In fact, I think it came out before I was born. Was shows like Naruto, and then that
It
led
came
into
out that
Shippuden.
early or that long ago, I mean.
Yeah, it was either 1999 or actually
Oh,
it
yeah,
was.
you if it was 99, dude, that is my show. I have to watch that. I have to finish that show then. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, I thought it came out in like two early 2000s, like 2002 or something.
Let's see.
That's wild.
Oh no, it was 2002.
Wait, really? Did I really just
Yes,
guess that off the top of my head?
so it was a year after I was born.
Mm,
But
oh, I
anyway,
was too.
um, so Naruto, and then that kind of drew me into a line of some animes like My Hero. But again, I
Hmm.
was just drawn to My Hero because it was a superhero anime. Um, but yeah, no, I like both of those shows. Again, I'm not a huge fan of like Boruto, which is like the sequel series to Shippuden and Naruto, and I feel like it kind of failed living up to the past two shows' names. Um, but yeah, like those were some of the newer shows that I grew up with. There was also the Bad Batch, which was like a sequel series to the Clone Wars. That was pretty good.
I will admittedly say I did start that a little bit, and I was like, this is kind of stupid. Mostly for the fact that I haven't seen Clone Wars and I didn't know that it was attached to it, and I'm like, this makes no fucking sense at all. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
this is just dumb.
you'll
But now if I go back and watch it, it'll probably be more understanding.
oh, absolutely. Like there's a lot of Clone Wars connections to. In fact, there's some Star Wars Rebels connections to Bad Batch as well.
Hmm.
So I would definitely recommend watching Clone Wars and maybe Rebels. Rebels technically happens after Bad Batch, but there is some references to Rebels in Bad Batch. So it's up to you. Um, but yeah, no, those are some of the shows that I started watching after high school.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
What are shows that you hope that they make,
oof.
if there are any?
So I know they're already coming out with a animated Spider-Man show that's new, but can we
Animated.
get a live action?
Like
No,
Miles Morales type animated?
it's
Or is it like the Amazing Spider-Man type animation?
I was gonna say it's more like the spectacular. Well, the animation's
Was it?
different, but it's gonna be a TV show on um, Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
But what I would want is a live action Tom Holland Spider-Man show because I think like
Ooh.
we're already getting a live action noir show, which will be crazy.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we're getting a
I didn't
live
know that.
action Spider-Man noir show. Yep.
Ooh. Who's the actor for that? Do you know?
Nicolas Cage.
Of course. Of course,
Uh,
it has been Nicolas Cage. He can't be anybody else.
I was gonna say he voiced Spider-Man Noir
What?
Into the Spider-Verse, so it only makes
Is he gonna
sense.
is the show gonna tie in with the multiverse, or is it gonna be like his own?
That's what I'm thinking, because, like, I don't know why else they would give us Nicolas Cage, because Nicolas Cage is technically Ghost Rider as well, unless they replace
Uh-huh.
him. Like, I know a lot of
I think
people
they
are
replaced
saying,
Ghost Rider with the kid.
which kid?
Remember in the last Ghost Rider where he saved that one kid who
Oh,
is
yeah,
also a
Satan's
Ghost Rider?
son. No,
Yeah.
I don't think those movies are connected to the MCU anymore. Because
Oh.
Idris Elba is in that movie and he plays Heimdall. Or
Hmm.
was it?
Well,
Okay,
to be
I
fair, Human Torch was also in Fantastic Four, and he was also in the Deadpool movie, which is now
I
also the MCU.
I
So
guess that is true. Let me see. Ghost Rider. Yeah, so there was the 2007 one and then the 2011. Yeah, okay,
mhm.
he was in it. Yeah. Hmm.
So you were saying that you would like them to come out with the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie or show?
Yeah, I think like especially with all the like other Marvel shows that are getting like live action debuts and everything, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you got Hawkeye, you got WandaVision. So like you got all
WandaVision
those.
was ugh, ugh.
I
It was
yeah,
alright.
I
It was interesting to figure out where Wanda went and what happened and why, but it was so weirdly done that I'm like, eh. I've watched it once and it was cool, but it's not something I'm gonna watch ever again.
yeah, I I don't know. I don't think I really got into any of the Marvel shows except Moon Knight. Moon Knight was like the only one that I really liked.
Yeah, but they're never gonna continue it apparently.
Well, and I was gonna say that's the other thing I'd want them to do. Give us a season two. Like, why is that so hard? Like, don't. I mean, unless they're planning on doing a Ghost Rider, a Moon Knight movie, give us a
Like
second season.
Legends, they might do Legends,
Maybe. I don't know.
which would be cool.
I don't know. I think they should do a season two because we got that little cliffhanger at the end with
Hmm.
Jake Lockley and then nothing.
Yep. It's like, oh, here he is. Oh, bye bye. And
Yeah,
you're like,
for
what the
real.
fuck?
Like that's literally it. But yeah, no, I would like a season two, and
Aren't
then
they,
yeah.
isn't there like the works or I guess like people are just saying or as a fan pick or whatever of Daredevil and Tom Holland having a
So
show already?
I know for a fact that Tom Holland just signed a new contract with Marvel and Sony saying that he'll be in more Marvel projects than the movies. So that means he could make a cameo in like the Daredevil or any of the other TV shows, which would be awesome because I want to see Spider-Man and Daredevil team up against Kingpin because
I
that
mean,
would
that
be.
is what Daredevil's like big honcho is, Kingpin.
I was gonna say, and that's what I liked about, or that's what I wanted for Spider-Man was to be a crime or a street level crime movie, but apparently number four is gonna be a multiversal movie, just like No Way Home. And don't get me wrong, I love No Way Home. That is my favorite Spider-Man film.
The
But
multiverse?
yeah, they don't need to do it again. Like, I mean, I heard Tom Hardy's Venom was going to be somehow involved, but
Bro, man.
I don't know. I want Tom Holland
Just a
to be
down-to-earth
fighting.
movie.
I was going to say street level crime. He's by himself in the um like in his apartment by himself and everything. And what I heard is so Spider-Man 2 how Peter was struggling to be both Peter Parker and Spider-Man
Correct.
and how he wanted to prioritize Peter Parker over Spider-Man.
Yes.
So it's going to be the opposite in number 4. Apparently he's going to prioritize being Spider-Man more than he's gonna be Peter Parker,
Hmm.
which
Like,
honestly would be
like
kind of cool.
responsibility wise, or like just like,
Well, so yeah, like
or
he
like is he
thinks
like is
like
it's gonna change like Spider-Man like when in the movie with like the first Spider-Man when he got this the Venom and he was like kind of like a douchey vibe. Do you think he's gonna be like a douchey kind of a Spider-Man? Because he's only gonna like care about being
no, I
Spider-Man, or is it
think he's gonna take Aunt May's, you know, quote to him to heart. Like she literally is like, you've been given a gift, you have power, and with great power comes great responsibility. Like I think he's gonna take that to heart, and he's gonna be like, this is my power, this is my responsibility. Because of this, I need to prioritize protecting this city with my gift. So I think
yeah?
he's gonna give himself no time as Peter Parker. So I think that's what it's going to be. And I'm kind of hoping they bring back his photography thing because, like, from what I could
Mm-hmm.
tell, like, Tom Holland's, I
He
don't even think
never was he never did pictures.
I was going to say, I don't think he ever
Never.
did photography, which is
Mm-mm.
interesting because, like, I mean, admittedly, like, with Toby and Andrew, I think they did the opposite. Well, actually, no. So with Toby, they leaned away from his sciency side, and he was more
More
about
photography.
photography. And then it was the opposite for Andrew Garfield,
Drew
where he was
Garfield.
more science than photography. And
Photos.
then it was just all science for Peter Parker and Tom Holland. And that's what I do like about Tom Holland because he actually made his own web fluid. He made his own web shooters before Tony Stark gave him them. And then,
I mean, so did Andrew, but I think Tobey
but
Maguire was the
here's
only one that was inside.
and the dumb thing is the director said for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is he found it hard to believe that a teenager could come up with, the ability to build a web shooter. And it's like you realize you're talking about a
Really?
character that can climb walls and lift heavy objects with the strength of a proportion of a spider to a human. It's like, where's the realism in him building his web shooters? Like,
Yeah,
I
dude
don't
can
know.
climb a wall with bare hands and lift and stop a train car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I, yeah, I don't know. I had a problem with that answer. And they even had a concept art for his web shooters. Like they were originally going to do web shooters, but then the director's like, "Nah, that doesn't sound realistic." And I'm like, "Well, neither does a guy stopping a whole freaking train, but whatever." Anyway, and then with Andrew Garfield's, what I didn't like about his was he took parts from Oscorp.
Mm.
He got the webs and the web shooter parts from Oscorp. You see it on his
Yes.
desk. Like he obviously modified it to his own design, but that's what I like about Tom's is he built his like by himself, like the web shooters, the web fluid. It's because he's a chemistry nerd and that's how he was in the comics and I really liked that. Like obviously I didn't really like him taking up the Stark tech and only being like Stark techy Spider-Man for a little bit, but that little bit we
Hmm.
got to see of homemade Spider-Man, I really liked. And I think if they leaned more towards that and gave him a more comic book accurate costume, it would have been perfect. But other than that, I like all three
Who's
Spider-Man for who they are. And what were you going to say?
who's oh, I was just gonna ask whose costume was more comic book accurate out of the three? Wasn't it Andrew Garfield's that was more comic book accurate?
I would say
Or
Tom's.
Tom Holland?
Because if
Okay.
you look at his spiders, like the back spider is different. Like in the comics, it's a circle with like the eight legs,
Legs.
and then Tom Holland's front spider was smaller, and like it looked like more toony than like realistic and detailed. His eyes moved like he had his emotions, kind of like in the comics. Like they weren't mechanical in
Okay.
the comics, but they were, like they showed his emotion because it's a comic book. Like they do
Yeah.
that to show that it's a comic book. I would say yes. Second after that is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, but One, his
I mean,
spiders were freaking huge. Those things
they
were
were very
way
big. It
too
took up his
big.
whole back.
Yeah, and also I don't like how long the legs were. The detail was a little unnecessary. I liked his eyes. I know a lot of people
His eyes
didn't
were
like
cool.
his eyes, yeah, but they were friendly. They were friendly eyes, and he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, they weren't intimidating. But his suit did remind me of the one from the PlayStation
A little
game.
bit, yes. I would say
Like
if
like
this
like I
the
could see it there, here and there, like the shine and the like he has a certain like metal. I guess like they're metal stripes. You know what I mean? Like those little metal lines, like they do in the game.
what
I
metal
think.
lines?
No, he didn't have metal lines. I was thinking of Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire had the metal lines. He doesn't have metal lines. He has
Oh, are you talking about his web pattern?
yeah. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
what
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff's made out of, but it's like super. It's like shiny or whatever.
It's
But
like
yes,
puff paint or it's like
yeah.
rubber or something. Yeah, like I actually did that for one of my homemade costume. Like in 7th grade, I made my own Spider-Man costume for Halloween and I used puff paint because I liked the way the webbing stood up on his costume. Like it really showed. And yes, I would say although his is the least comic book accurate, I do think Toby's has the coolest suit. Like he's got the sharp eyes, he's got the
Mm-hmm.
silver webbing, the spider's not too big. I just wish the back spider was different. And then other than that, yeah, no. Like I love the silver webbing. It's a new like look to Spider-Man. Like but I don't know. I don't think anything will ever change the classic Spider-Man for me, but Toby's suit
No.
is pretty solid. I really like his suit.
No, you were about to ask a question before I interrupted you just there.
Um Oh, I guess to get back onto TV shows real quick, what do you think is my favorite TV show? I might have already told you this, but out of all the ones I listed, what do you think is my favorite?
Um, wasn't it? I don't know how many Spider-Man shows there were, but I know it's I have a feeling, like a very high feeling, like it's between regular show and a Spider-Man show, but I'm leaning more towards the Spider-Man show.
You'd actually be incorrect for both of those.
What?
My
Do I
favorite
not
TV
know my best
show.
friend?
No, you definitely know me, but like, and I mean, my personality could probably throw off anyone, but yeah, no,
Is it
I would.
SpongeBob? Is it SpongeBob?
No,
Be honest.
it's
Is it
Clone
Barbie?
Wars. Clone Wars is
Clone
my
Wars.
favorite TV show of all time.
That's why you recommend it so much. Okay,
Oh yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Like the character development alone in that show is awesome. I love the show. The characters are so fun. Like the story is really cool. Like I'm not going to say it's perfect cuz there are definitely some slow moments in it, but it's just such a good show. Like some of my favorite characters of fiction are in that show and you know like even like some characters from that show exclusive to that show are some of my favorite Star Wars characters. So,
Okay. Well,
but yeah.
where does that show like belong in the timeline of Star Wars?
So it takes place between episode 2 and 3. So if you were to watch it chronologically in order, it'd be episodes
Hmm.
1, 2, Clone Wars, 3, and then or I guess yeah, 3, then Bad Batch, then Rebels, then four,
Good.
five, six, and then Mandalorian, and then Ahsoka. But
Because like I got confused with Star Wars because like there's people like I grew up. Okay, so I grew up with Star Trek. That's what my dad and everyone or a couple of the other guys in my family really like Star Trek. So I grew up with Captain Kirk and Spock and that type stuff. I grew up with that. And then I met you and somebody else when I was younger that liked Star Wars a lot. And I'm like, It's kind of the same. It's kind of they have their same aspects here and there. So, I could probably get into it. And I did get into Star Wars. Star Wars is really interesting. It's a really good show. It has good storyline, except for the new Star Wars movies. I hate those. But anyways, from what I always remember when I think of Star Wars from a kid and everything, and it kind of confused me later on when I always thought the troopers were bad, like always bad, and then I see some troopers that are being good, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah, so that one confused me too because when I was younger, I thought the stormtroopers were the clone troopers after they turned bad because
Yeah.
if you remember in episode 3 when Order 66 was initiated, the clones killed all their fellow Jedi. But the funny
Yes.
thing is a lot of them withheld from killing their generals because they had emotional connections, or at least I think the only one that didn't kill their general was Rex and Ahsoka. But
I know
yeah,
Rex is a
so
good one. I hear a lot about it, Rex, a lot.
oh yeah, no, he's my favorite Star Wars character, like out of all of them. So yeah, no, he had a huge impact in terms of that show. Um, but yeah, no, it I would say um, or well, lore
Your favorite one would
accurately.
be, oh, sorry.
No, you're good. So the stormtroopers, yes, there are some that are still clones, but after the Jedi were killed, the clone program was shut down. So the rest of the clones were either used as military training officers or they were killed if they rebelled. Um,
Oh, okay.
so the ones that joined the Empire eventually died off. And then they started hiring people from all across the galaxy because the Emperor or Empire promised them like jobs and money and food and a shelter. Like they basically promised like all these people like good stuff with it, and that made being a stormtrooper enticing, even if they had
And
to do
then
messed up
just lied.
stuff. Well, no, they didn't lie. That's the thing is they actually gave the stormtroopers what they needed and wanted, but because they were made to do awful things, a lot of stormtroopers, failed that. But then the more messed up people obviously were like, yeah, no, I can
Stuck
kill
around.
innocent civilians if I want to. I get money and food, right? So killing a
Yeah.
civilian doesn't harm me. But yeah, no, that's the messed up thing about the stormtroopers. But anyway, it looks like we are out of time, but thank you, Travis, for this awesome topic. I must say it was good going down memory lane yet again in a different way, I might add. I can't believe we haven't really talked about TV shows or anything yet. But I'm glad we did because it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, especially I brought it up mostly for the fact of like, um, I talk about when I'll bring up something like I'll try to relate stuff to TV shows that I've already seen or watched, so that's why I kind of want to have a podcast about it. So later on, if I have a reference or bring up a reference from a TV show, you know, they kind of understand what it is if they're following from point A to point B of the podcast.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Um, any closing thoughts?
I just wanted to throw in here. It has to do with my show Supernatural. I just want to throw in just real quick. I'm actually
Please.
really, really excited because or not Jensen, yeah, Jensen Ackles, who played Dean Winchester, he's gonna be the next Batman, which I found out, and I love Batman in DC. He's
Oh, is he really?
probably, yeah, yeah, he's gonna play the new Batman. At first, people thought he was gonna play Red Hood, but he's actually gonna play Batman, and I actually dug a little deeper on like shows and movies that he's played before, and he actually has played Batman on multiple, not just once, but multiple occasions in the Justice League animation movies,
Hmm.
which I didn't know about. and they're still going on. They're still making those animated stuff. So it might be a show or something. I don't know. I need to look more into that. But he has played Batman before in an animated version, so it would be cool to see him being Batman in real life. And apparently they said that he's going to be the next Batman. Which, if they do that, instead, okay, I don't like Robert Pattinson's Batman. I don't really like him that much. But if they do
Really?
Jensen Ackles, yeah, I don't know why. I just don't like him. Every time I see his face, I think of sparkling diamond vampire. I don't see him being
To be
Batman, so it
fair, I never
just throws me
watched.
off.
I was gonna say I never really watched Twilight, so I can't really relate. I think he did a pretty good job of balancing both comic book Batman and detective Batman.
But other than that, um, if you guys haven't checked out my buddy here's YouTube channel, it is phenomenal. It's great content. It always makes me laugh, so it might definitely make you laugh. So if I were you, I'd go check it out on YouTube at multi hyphen. Don't forget the hyphen. Might on YouTube. He makes a lot of good content as he does a lot of Fortnite. He does Phasmophobia, which is a great one. It's a funny content over there. So if you guys haven't, go check out his YouTube channel. If you guys want to check out mine, you guys can go check out mine. Is Griff? I think it's Griff. Yeah, it's Griffin Shock on Twitch. I have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna mention this here. I've tried mentioning it on my YouTube channel before, but I'm gonna mention it here as well. The videos are gonna look weird because they're gonna have little like tabs that pull down from the top, and that's because I have to record it from my phone because I don't know how to properly record my Twitch videos. So I record it, screen record it while I'm streaming on my phone or on my Xbox. Um, and then also, if you guys want to check out the Sense of Humor's podcast, this video is probably going to come up on YouTube on Monday. Um,
Yes,
we
sir.
record it on Saturdays, but it comes out on a Monday.
Hells yeah. Thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it as always.
Of
And
course.
in terms of the I can help you with the videos because I can actually send you a link to how to do that because I had the same trouble when I first started. I don't think I have a way to record with my phone, but I can show you how to just properly download them and upload them. But
Okay.
anyway,
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
of course. Um, yeah, I guess that's it then. Thank you
Yeah.
everybody so much for listening. See you guys in the next one.
Peace.